What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Baseline Broadcast. My name is Caroline Anderson. I love tennis. I made a YouTube channel about it. Now that that's out of the way, there hasn't really been any tournaments or matches. I mean, there's been tiny ones that are less than 1,000, so typically I don't cover those. So I've been enjoying some time off, getting prepared for the upcoming hardcore tournaments. Speaking of hardcore tournaments, since there hasn't been any tennis played, or major tennis played lately, I haven't had anything to cover. So we are going to look back on some of the highlights from the first half of the hardcore season, which, as you can see, was from January, or, you can kind of consider late December, but all the way until March. So I'm just going to give you guys highlights from the tournaments that I covered over the course of those 3 months. And just remember, I typically only cover 1,000s and Grand Slams right now because that's what my time allows. But the one exception is Berlin, which happened to be like the major warm-up tournament before Wimbledon. But we won't even discuss that until later this year. So we're gonna get into those first half highlights, and I hope you guys enjoy. Oh hey, before I forget, sorry guys. I just want to say that some of these might not be like full like tennis playing highlights. Some of them might be like funny moments or like viral moments from this first half of the season. So moments that some people might be looking for will hopefully be in here. So just want to let you know that. Alright, let's get started. Alright guys, so kicking it off at number 1, we're starting with the Australian Open. As you can see, we've got the champion, Elena Rybakina. Elena played some of her best tennis in this tournament, and it was like, holy cow, this girl's on fire. And she beat players like Iga Swiatek, who was looking for the career slam, and Aryna Sabalenka, who was looking to bounce back from her loss to Madison Keys last year. She did it while being her complete self, cool, calm, collected, poised. During the Australian Open this year, so Texas and the Australian Open are like on different seasons. So for Australia, it was summer, and here in Texas, for most of the Australian Open, we were actually snowed in to our house. So that was actually kind of fun to get to spend some time watching tennis and enjoying some relaxation while also, being stuck inside the house. Even though that part wasn't as nice, it was still nice to get to be able to enjoy tennis. So, but anyway, yes, Rybakina wins the Australian Open for her second slam. Hopefully there's many more to come for her. Yeah, so let's move on to number 2. Alright guys, number 2, so this is kind of a combined one because these two tournaments were both 1 week long, and they I have opinions about those, but anyway, as you can see, Mukova and Pegula won both of those tournaments in Doha and Dubai, yeah, it was very fun, and I'm pretty sure Pegula won Dubai at the same time that USA was playing in the Olympics, so that's super fun. And Mukova, of course, winning Doha is good for her as well. So yeah. On to the next one. That one's kind of a quick one just because of the nature of the tournaments. Anyway, on to the next one. Alright guys, so number 3. Here's your first viral moment. As you can see, Andreeva had a massive crash out in Indian Wells where she was very upset. I couldn't remember who the opponent was, maybe like Siniakova or something like that, but Andreeva was pissed. Like, she really was. And she was throwing things, she was yelling at the crowd. I'm not saying this is like good or anything like that, but it definitely was a viral moment, a very notable one from this first half of the hardcourt season. Andreeva was the defending champion at Indian Wells, and so I think there was a lot of pressure on her to win the tournament again, but she didn't, and that was tough on her, I guess, and she had that massive crash out. Alright, next one. Alright, you know what? I would be remiss if I didn't include this one. This was the Indian Wells final between Rybakina and Sabalenka. Sabalenka came out on top, but my gosh, these girls were in a major battle. And it was really fun to watch. There was a tie break, and it was like match point a bunch of times. It was just, they were fighting off. It was incredible. These two are always fun to watch when they play each other. They played each other in the Australian Open final, just like they did 3 years ago. And of course, they played each other in the Indian Wells final, just like they did 3 years ago. A little secret about that, and we're gonna cross our fingers on this. There was a certain team that won the World Series that year as well. I'm not gonna go super deep into it, but just kind of hoping. Anyway, that's beside the point though. This was an incredible match, and of course I had to include it because honestly, yeah, I'd be remiss if I didn't. So, and this was like right after Rybakina like overtook Swiatek in the rankings for number 2, and she's been number 2 ever since. So hopefully these two girls can get back to where they're playing their best tennis and give us some more blockbusters like this one. Alright, next one. Alright guys, so last but certainly not least, we've got Sabalenka winning the Sunshine Double. This was right after she got engaged too, so this was like a huge deal. And she was only the 5th woman in WTA history, or in the Open era. Probably both. One of the two. One of the two or both. Yeah. Excuse me. But she was only the 5th woman to complete that challenge and defend. Well, she defended her Miami title, but she got a little bit of revenge in the Indian Wells final from last year, yeah, she did really well, and hopefully, like I said, she gets back to playing some of her best tennis, because when she is on, she is fun to watch. Alright, you guys, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And next week we'll be back to like our typical stuff, because we'll have something to talk about next week. Anyway guys, sorry about that. Like I said, we'll be back to the regular stuff next week, because Toronto starts on August 2nd. And yeah, so make sure you come back next week and get ready to enjoy the last half of the season. Alright, bye.